Hey guys, welcome to another video. For this we're going to be using a 4mm hook, fingering weight yarn, and I'm making this in a size large. Okay, we're going to start by making a slip knot. And then we're going to make a chain of 4. Okay. And then 10. We're going to be working into the back bumps of the chains. Into the second chain from our hook, work a single crochet in the back bump. Okay. 1. Into the next, work another. Into the last, work another. Okay, that's it for row 1. No increase. For row 2, we're going to be increasing at the beginning and at the end of the row. So for row 2, chain 1 and then turn into the first stitch, work 2 single crochets. 1 and then 2. Into the next stitch, work a single crochet. We're going through the 2 top loops. Then into the last, work 2 single crochets. 1 and then 2. That's it for row 2. For row 3, chain 1, no increase. Meet you guys back. Okay, I'm at the end of row 3. For row 4, we're going to be increasing at the beginning and at the end of the row. For row 4, chain 1, turn into the first stitch, work 2 single crochets. 1 into the last stitch, work 2 single crochets. Okay, for row 5, chain 1 and repeat the same process. We're going to be increasing at the beginning and at the end of the row, so go ahead and do that and then I'll meet you guys back. Okay guys, so at this point you should have a total of 9 stitches because we started with 3 and then we've had 3 rows of increase, and for each row we increase 2 stitches, so 2 times 3, that's 6, plus 3 that we started with, that's 9. So now go ahead and repeat row 1 to 5 until you get to row 38. That means you'll be ending at row 3, which means for row 6 no increase, row 7 increase, row 8 no increase, 9 and 10 increase. You get it right? So go ahead and repeat those steps until you get to row 38. But I'll be back to show you guys how I do the color change. Yeah, so I just finished up working row 20. At this point you should have 27 stitches if you're doing the increase correctly. For row 21, chain 1 and then 10. I'm going to work 12 single crochets before I change colors. To work the 12th stitch, I'm going to start with white, but I'm not going to complete. I'm going to loop this like so, and I already made a slip knot and pull through. Okay, now bring the tail over here. Now I'm going to single crochet over these 2 tails. So into the next stitch, work a single crochet. I'm working over the tails. Okay, to the next work. You can decide how many stitch you want to work with. Another color. Okay, so I've worked 8 in purple. I usually work 9, so I'm going to start the 9th with purple, and then I'm going to bring the yarn over like so and kind of trap this white and pull through. Okay, so I'm back using white again to the next stitch, work, and then can go ahead and complete. And guys, I'll be back later to show you guys how I will weave in this tail. As you can see, I only have one tail after my color change because I crochet over the other tail, so it's trapped underneath these stitches. And later I'll be back to show you guys how I weave in this tail. After row 38, go ahead and fasten off and repeat the steps for 3 more triangles, but for your last triangle, do not fasten off. Next, go ahead and arrange your triangles the way you want them to look like in the top. So this is going to be the front of my top. These 2 triangles are going to be in front, and then the ones at the back are going to be at the back, and then place them. The right side should be facing out, so this is the right side. As to which side is the right side or the wrong side, even number rows are the right side, so this is an even number row and it's the right side, and for this is the right side, so the wrong sides should be facing each other like so. So go ahead and do that, and then your live loop should be on your left. This is the live loop. Okay, for row 39, chain 1 and then 10, and now we're going to work in each stitch without increasing, so go ahead and do that, and when you get to the last stitch of this triangle, I'll meet you guys back. Okay, I just worked the last stitch. Go ahead and attach a stitch marker to the first stitch, and now pick the other triangle you want also to be on the front of your top, and make sure you're working correctly. You can go ahead and look on this one to see if you are supposed to turn or work as is. Now just into the corner stitch on this triangle, work single crochet. Okay, and now continue working single crochets in every single stitch until the end for this triangle. Now go ahead and pick the next triangle. Okay, I'm supposed to turn. Okay, into the first stitch, work single crochet. Now go ahead and repeat the steps, and I'll meet you guys back when you've joined the last triangle. Once you're done with the last triangle, slip stitch to the first stitch of the first triangle to form a round. Slip stitch. Okay, and now we're going to chain 1 and 10. Okay, and this stitch right here is the slip stitch, so it doesn't count. Into the stitch after that, work a single crochet. Okay, and now attach a stitch marker into this stitch, just work to mark it as the first stitch of the round, of the new round, and now work single crochets all around, and then I'll meet you guys back. Small tip, guys, remember for the last row, when we slip stitch to attach, we slip stitch into the last stitch of the other row, of the other round, and remember to work a single crochet into that stitch that we slip stitch into for this round, otherwise you're going to be decreasing without even knowing it. So make sure to make sure to work a single crochet in that stitch like I just did. You can see this was the slip stitch, and now I'm working a single crochet into that stitch. So that should be the last stitch, and that's it for row 40. Now that's it for round 40. Slip stitch to the first stitch to attach. Okay, and now chain 1 and 10. Remember, skip this stitch, that's the slip stitch, and the next is the actual stitch we're going to be working into. So work a single crochet into this stitch and attach a stitch marker to mark it as the first stitch of the round. Okay, remember, when you work your way around, you're still going to work into this stitch that we slip stitch into. That's going to be the last stitch for round 41. For this to look more professional, you have to choose whether you're going to be changing colors during even number rows or odd number rows. Personally, I prefer changing colors during odd number rows because I want the even number rows to be my right side. So pick and stick with it. So this is row 41. That means I'm going to be changing colors if I wish to. So go ahead and work single crochets all the way around and slip stitch to attach, and repeat it until this top gets to whatever length you prefer. I'm back to show you guys how to finish the armholes and the neckline. If you look, you can see the edging I did. This is a crab stitch edging on the neckline too. So now I'm going to show you guys on this side how to do the crab stitch. If the crab stitch is too much for you, you can just go ahead and do single crochet edging, and make sure the top is turned right side out. So this is my right side. If for me, and if you're using the pattern, the even number rows are the right side. Next, insert your hook into the top stitch, the corner stitch here, and make a slip knot, and then pull through and chain 1. Okay, and into the same stitch work a single crochet. Okay, a crab stitch is basically working single crochets going backwards. Not only when we crochet, if you're right-handed, you crochet from right to left, but for the crab stitch you work single crochets from left to right if you're right-handed, and then vice versa if you're left-handed. So into the same stitch work a single crochet. Okay, that's it. To work the next crab stitch into the corner stitch of the next row, this is row 2, insert your hook into the corner stitch and work a single crochet. Okay, so into the next, which is the third row, find the last stitch on this side and work a single crochet. Okay, to the next. As you can see, working single crochets this way creates this twist. It twists the stitches. Okay, so go ahead and repeat the step for this entire armhole. When you get to this stitch, fasten off and then reattach. And then reattach your yarn on this side and repeat the steps going this way. And when you get to this stitch, fasten off, and at the back attach your yarn here and repeat the crab stitch. And when you get to this, fasten off, and then repeat for this other armhole. Attach your yarn here, and when you get to this stitch, fasten off. I'm done with the entire armhole. Can you see how gorgeous this looks? A crab stitch. Okay, now so when you work the last stitch of this row, go ahead and fasten off. Next, we're going to crochet the strap. I'm thinking an I-cord, a crochet I-cord, but if the I-cord is too much for you, you can just work single crochets for 13 rows and repeat on the other side and seam at the top for your strap. So to remember, when we started, we worked into the back bumps of the chains, and you can see the 2 bottom V's of the chains are left. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is 1 and this is 2 and this is 3, and we need to pick up 5 stitches here, and we're going to pick up 1 from this crab stitch row, and then 3 from our foundation chain, and then another from this crab stitch row. Okay, make sure the top is still turned right side out into this corner stitch here from the crab stitch row. Insert your hook into a loop. I like to go in through 2 loops. Find 2 loops, insert your hook and make a slip knot and pull loop through. It's going to be tight, but just okay. Pulled. Then remember, we have 3 stitches from our foundation chain, and then pick up with the loop still on your hook into the next, pick up another loop into the next stitch, pick up another 3 now into the next, pick up. So for this last stitch, I'm going to be using this small hook to help me pick up another stitch. Okay, and now you should have 5 loops on your hook. Now I'm going to begin making the I-cord. If you don't want to make an I-cord, you could just work single crochets the same way we picked up stitches and work 13 rows, but for me, I want to work an I-cord. Now what you're going to do next is you are going to steps to work an I-cord. Then for me, I like to use a smaller hook to slip this loop so it's not hard for me to work into them. Next, pull your yarn and chain 1. Okay, and now release the next loop from your hook like so and chain 1. Then release the next loop and chain 1, and the next chain 1, and the next chain 1. So this is row 1 or round 1 for our I-cord. For round 2 or row 2, remove until you have just 1 loop on the hook and slip the rest onto this smaller hook. This I'm using a 2.5 mm hook to help me work my I-cord. And next is put yarn and then chain 1, okay, and release the next loop from the smaller hook and chain 1, release the next and chain 1 again. Okay, release the next and chain 1 and release the next and chain. So go ahead and repeat this until you have 13 rows. Okay, I have 13 rows of this. Now gently remove your hook. Gently. Okay, now we're going to slip the hooks onto this stitch marker. Okay, and lock the stitch marker, and then cut your yarn, leaving a tail that you can weave in later. So go ahead and repeat the steps for this side. Make another I-cord and I'll be back to show you guys how to attach the I-cords together. I have 13 rows here as well. Next step is to cut leaving enough tail for you to seam. Okay, and now thread this. Okay, slip the loops back onto the smaller hook. Okay, and now remove the stitch marker. Okay, now we're going to begin joining. So into this loop on the blue hook, go from back to front, pick it up and release from the hook, and onto this, pick up and release and pull tight. Okay, then repeat the same thing for the next stitch. Go like this and release. Okay, and on this, and then release. Tie a knot on the back. Okay, and now you can weave these inside the I-cord. At the top part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tie a knot twice. Okay, and then I'm going to weave this inside the I-cord. Remember, this is on the wrong side of the top, so I'm going to insert my hook inside the tube. Okay, and now I'm going to tilt and just pull them inside the I-cord like so. So this is the finished look when you're done with the strap. Can you see? I'm making the cropped version sample on this video, so I'm ending at row 84. If you want yours to be longer, you can go ahead and work up to 100. Just end at an even number row. I've slip stitched to attach this round, that's the 84th round. Next step is we're going to work a crab stitch edging at the bottom. So I've slip stitched to attach. Now chain 1, okay, and into, because we're working from left to right, that's if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, it's vice versa. Into the, this is going to be the first stitch, this one is the slip stitch, so this is the actual next stitch. So insert your hook into this and make a single crochet. Godwise. Okay, next stitch, make single crochet. Okay, so continue and work your way around, and when we get to the last stitch, I'll meet you guys back. I'm back, about to work the last stitch. So that's it. So go ahead and pull this and thread. Now I have this threaded. I'm just going to just to attach. Okay, and now you can go ahead and weave this in at the back. So now the top is turned wrong side out. Can you believe this is the wrong side? Can you see how I wove in the ends and it looks clean and tidy? So now I'm going to show you guys on this one. First, what I do is I unravel the ply. Just okay. So this yarn is 3 ply. I take one and I find a loop here on the back. Using a smaller hook, I pull it through. Okay, and then I tie a knot twice. Okay, so now this is secure, it's not going anywhere. Now next is I'm going to use the small hook. This is a 0.6 mm. You could use your yarn needle if you want. Okay, let me show you guys using the yarn needle. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go through the stitches like this. Okay, okay. Now I'm going to thread this. Now just pull. Okay, can you see? And now you can use your scissors to snip this. Okay, and now can you see it? Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for making it this far. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe and share. See you in the next one.